think, okay, we'll just do this whole friends first thing. Like, we'll see, like, we'll have a friendship first, and then we'll establish things, and then it's a safe foundation for us to have a relationship, which just builds in lots of ambiguity. And
no, there has to be touching and kissing.
yeah, there has to be. There has to be intention for creating something intimate, but take it slow. Not because you're building a friendship first, but because you're actually exploring the relationship together.
Yeah.
Because like what you were saying about men being the hunters, and because that builds, right?
Yes.
So as the man is pursuing and providing something, and you're like, okay, great, yeah, and you're in a little bit more, there's building. The more bonding gets created. And if it's just sex and there's no bonding, then there's nothing to come back to the next time.
Right. And I think that's a really good point, and I try to bring that up with my clients as well, around men being hunters. That is a primal instinct within them. You know, that they're going to want to sort of perform the chase, and they are going to want to have sex with you because that's what their bodies want them to do. That's right. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with you or wrong with them. I feel like men sometimes get a bad rap for being sexually aroused or being sexually driven.
No, but there's a way to be respectful with it.
There
right?
is. Yes,
you know,
definitely.
if that's all you're asking women all the time, you're always asking them for sex, and it's the way you go about it.
Yeah.
If, you know, like you're online and all you're doing is sending them pictures of your penises and all this stuff. Like, that's just not the way to do it, right?
Definitely
be tactful.
Yeah, but I also think that even when you're in, like, one of the things I hear even in relationship coaching and things like that in my practice is, you know, he wants sex a lot, and it's like, it's normal.
There's nothing wrong
and there's
with
nothing
that.
wrong with it. And I think a lot of times too, men express themselves through sex, so they're not always touchy-feely with their words. They're not sometimes good with a lot of affection. So for a lot of men, sex is the only form of expression that they have, and it's the only way that they've ever known that was acceptable to share their emotions.
But maybe when you start to get to know somebody, not on the first date where you meet someone from an online dating site, and then all of a sudden you're telling them things like, you know, you'd look great in that lingerie, or I'd love to see you in your pajamas, your lingerie, or whatever. You know, I've heard all these stories, and it's just, the girls are just like, they did it again. Like, I'm so disappointed. Another one, you know, and it's constant. It's just like, stop talking about sex on the first date unless some of them, that's what they want.
Yes.
So it's just turn off for a lot of women.
Yeah, it totally is. And then, so tell me about matchmaking, and then I want you to talk to us about, you know, some of the events, the types of things that you offer through your dating coaching. Why matchmaking? Why would somebody use a matchmaker?
Well, a matchmaker can help you weed out, like, so they can get more to helping you find someone that you're really looking for. So with what your interests are, who you are as a person. I mean, we have an entire interview process. We look at past relationships and where you are in your life. And then we can determine, okay, this person's either ready or this person's not. Like, I've met people that I sit down with and they're just not ready to meet someone. They want to, but it's like, I don't think you're ready. So it's more than just matchmaking. It's also like a coaching session as well. Sometimes I find that I'm coaching people along with the session. But it's really to help find someone that you're really looking for, or someone that you might be more compatible with, and vice versa. So matchmaking is always a two-way street. So let's say you're looking for a specific person, they also have to be looking for you.
Right.
And it's not like the easiest task in the world. I could sit here and go, oh yeah, you know, I can guarantee the love of your life. Like, we're not God, right? Like, we don't know until, just like you don't know until you sit down and meet someone face to face, whether you're going to be really compatible. But we can pinpoint a lot of the things that you're looking for, and vice versa.
All right, good. Dating coaching, some of the things that you create for people.
So I love what you were talking about around, I would call it clarity, like getting super clear about what it is that you actually want and why you even want it. So funny, I was having this call with a woman yesterday, and she was like, I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Like mid-40s, wanted to be in a relationship all my life, don't actually know why. So that's one of the things I get to.
She doesn't know why she wanted to be in a relationship.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things that we just learn is like, that's just what you should do.
Yeah,
There's just something missing in life if you don't have that person. Like, I have this great life, but something's missing, or I don't want to be alone. And so where I get people is just move them from that side, because not wanting to be alone is just on the side of the same spectrum as what it would be like to actually have that kind of a partner.
Right.
Because that's the real why that I'm interested in. It's so when they get to that point,
then what?
for example, it was with this person, it was like, oh, well, life is just so much more vivid and alive and full. So not this "you complete me" idea.
Thank you.
Because I hear that all the time, and
That
you know
drives
why
me
we
crazy,
hear
I
it
know.
is because it's in the media.
I know.
Right?
And
And so-
I could squash that line in that movie. I'm like, you were complete when your mother birthed you, okay?
I know. I do not like that movie. But it's just, it sounds like it's positive, like more complete, but it's actually a symptom of something's missing.
Yeah.
Like if you're not complete now, then something's missing. So I just get people to move along the spectrum to the side, okay, instead of what you're avoiding, being alone or being incomplete, what do you actually get when you have that relationship? Because that's the real reason that we want this, is like life, for me, I think life is just like set on fire. You just go to the next level with who you are, your expression in the world, because you've got this partner. So that's one thing. And the other is like really looking, okay, so what are the things that are holding you back that you don't know are holding you back? Because you know if you're shy or if you have a lack of confidence, okay, good, that's something you can work on. That's like a skill that you can develop in relationships. But most of the time, I find the things that hold us back from being in the relationship we really want are not things that we can see, right? They're like totally hidden from our view. So that's one of the main things that I go to work out with people is like, forget strategies, forget tactics or lines or any of that stuff. That doesn't make a difference if the stuff that's really holding you back is still there. It's still going to be running the show, convincing you that it's much safer to, you know, watch Netflix at home.
Well, that's the
than put
thing,
yourself
because
on the line.
when I look at my clients and I'm like, okay, well, what is the common denominator in all of these things, in these relationships? It's you, right? And it's not to put blame on people, but it's to give you that awareness of yourself and to look at, because a lot of times people jump from one relationship to another thinking, well, is this the one, is this the one? But if you're taking the same packaging and putting it into another formula, you know, the same data and putting another formula, you're going to come out with the same answer.
Exactly.
So a lot of times it's really important, like you say, is for people to know, if you don't know what you want, how can you attract it? I'm going to reel it back into law of attraction. The law of attraction works in such a way that it returns to you what you put out there. If you're putting out there, I don't know, you're getting back, I don't know. Right?
Exactly.
So if you're putting out there, don't be coming at me for sex. And that's why I say, instead of using the words don't, if we're out there, because, you know, the universe doesn't hear the words don't, not, and no. So when you put out there, don't come at me for sex, you're basically saying, come at me for sex. So you end up seeing all those men or women that are just in for those things that you don't want, right? So it's really important for them to be so crystal clear on what it is that they want, because if you go to a restaurant and they hand you the menu and you're like, geez, oh no, you know, just I want it to taste good, whatever it is, just bring it here, right? Make me happy and I'm going to feel like, yay, after I eat it. And
So true.
they're going to look at you like, really? So we need that clarity, and that's what, you know, people like yourselves are able to do for us.
You'd be surprised at how many people are actually dating that don't even know that they shouldn't be dating.
Yeah, right. And you know,
And then they come to you and go, well, you know, I'm always attracting this type of person, and it's like, well, because that's who you are.
yeah, and they
that's
don't
the person
recognize.
you are. Like, you have to look at yourself. You
Totally.
know?
So what I would like to ask you to do is give us one last piece of advice.
Just be yourself, be true to yourself, know who you are before you get out there and look for the person of your dreams.
That's a good piece of advice. Now, what's up and coming for you, and where can the viewers find you?
Well, I have a ton of events coming up for the fall, and people can find me at singleinthecity.ca. My matchmaking, date coaching, and all my events are listed on that site. As well, my Twitter and Facebook handle is Single in the City.
Thank you.
Thank
Leslie, last piece of advice, the golden nugget.
Consider that you're wrong about your type. Yeah, just be open to the person actually showing up in a completely different package. And when I mean package, I mean the physical package,
Sure.
than you ever anticipated.
Such good advice, because I took that advice and it worked for me as well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Already worked. And where can we find you, and what's up and coming? I know you've got a lot of stuff up and coming.
Yeah, I guess I love your website. So great. Mine's such a freaking
Actually,
mouthful.
mine's changing.
Oh, well, I love
Yeah.
that. That's such a great website. Mine is Mars Venus Coach Leslie Edwards. It's a huge mouthful. Hopefully someone can find it. Google is also really helpful.
The magic of TV, it will be written underneath you as you say it right now.
So similarly, all my events, and you can get in touch with me over my website. The things I have coming up that I'll totally offer your viewers free tickets to
Oh, awesome.
the lady viewers. This is a ladies only event, to my 3 massive mistakes most single women make. That's my favorite talk that I do, where I really get into all the crazy stuff that I've done and all the mistakes that I've made
All
to
the
get to
great
the
comes
place
out.
of having the love of my life. But yeah, so that you don't have to make those mistakes.
Fantastic.
So they can have free tickets to that event. Those are coming up all throughout the summer.
Terrific. Thank you, ladies, both for joining us and for helping us to help those out there in the dating world. Viewers, dating can be a challenging time. We know, we've all been through it. But what I'm really encouraging you to do is get to know who you are first and take that time to really sit down, make those lists of what you're looking for. That's the best way to start attracting it. And those lists that can be carved in jello so that you can kind of change it as you go along. You don't have to be stuck in it. If somebody comes along and he doesn't have the qualities on the list, that's okay. The best way to find out your partner is to go down here, into your heart. Out of here, down here. We usually love with our hearts, not our minds. So I encourage you to take that time to know yourself before you get into that new relationship. Go out there and have some fun. As always, I want you to stop waiting and start living 365. Thank you for joining us.